Alright, yeah, welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today we're going to be taking part in some historic Brawl. Since there's no cool things up now, we can't really play Brawl at the moment, so we're going to play some historic Brawl using arenabrawl.net, which is a pretty sweet website where you get to challenge strangers on the internet to some Brawl shenanigans. We're going to be playing Captain Sisay today, which is from the Historic Anthology set. Most recently. It's a really cool commander in both actual Commander and in Historic Brawl as well. 4 mana for a 2-2. You get to search your library for a legendary card, reveal that card, put it onto your hand, then shuffle your library. So basically, Sisay is a card advantage monster. You do not ever want Sisay to untap and get to use her thing. So, you know, most of the deck is going to be legendary base. If it's not legendary, it better be pretty damn good. I think the only exception really to our legendary plans are a few mana rocks and board wipes as well. So as far as mana rocks are concerned, we got the Arcane Signets, Mind Stones, and even Treasure Map making a return, one of my favourite artifacts currently on Arena. We got Chromatic Lanterns and things like that as well. As I mentioned, board wipes include Cleansing Nova and even Realm Cloak Giant up on the top end here. Just want to make sure that we deal with what our opponent's doing, because this is not a very interactive deck as such. We can do one-for-ones, but they're not usually one of whatever we want. It's usually something very specific. So like in the case of Vivian Reed, the minus only gets rid of artifacts, enchantments, or creatures with flying. So very narrow removal from our deck. The idea is basically that we're just going to outvalue our opponent. We're going to try to do that anyway. So every single time Sisay gets to tap, we're going to get a card that's very good in that matchup, or at least the best thing that we possibly could in that matchup. And as we mentioned, it only gets the legendary stuff, so we're very legendary focused. There's some really fun cards in here, though. Things like Kamal's Druidic Vow is really, really cool. 2 green and X. To look at the top X cards of your library, you may put any number of lands or legendary permanent cards with converted mana cost X or less from among them onto the battlefield, and then the rest into your graveyard. Whatever goes in the graveyard, though, we are going to lose. We don't have graveyard recursion. But we do have a lot of legendary permanents and a lot of lands, so, you know, this should hit a lot. We also have things like Nissa, who shakes the world, just to make sure that Kamal's Druidic Vow can be as large as it is. We're not really reliant on Nissa as a ramp source as such, because we're only running 5 forests. Actually 6 if you count the Temple Garden, which obviously should be counted. But yeah, she's really here just to make some 3/3s and pressure our opponent. It's just another legendary on the list of legendaries. We got Helm of the Host in here, which is going to be a pretty cool equip. Eugene is very effective, actually, because if you notice the amount of colourless cards in our deck right now, Eugene's passive is surprisingly useful, giving 2 cost reduction on all colourless spells. So things like Mind Stone and Arcane Signet are completely free to cast and actually generate as mana. 1 mana for Chromatic Lantern, which makes the mana, so it's effectively free there as well. You can get your Thran's Temporal Gateways and your Helm of the Hosts down for just 2 mana. So it's really, really cool in that regard. Helm of the Host is a lot of fun. As far as really high impact cards off of Sisay is concerned, though, we have Urza's Ruinous Blast, which is a legendary board wipe. 5 mana to exile all non-land permanents that aren't legendary. So you got to be a little bit careful with how you use this one, because we still can hit ourselves. But for the most part, it's going to be a one-sided board wipe. It's going to feel pretty damn one-sided when you use it. As I mentioned, we have some non-legendaries in here, like Arcane Signets, Mind Stones, Chromatic Lanterns. You want to make sure that you tap those for mana first before you fire this off, otherwise you're just wasting mana. Treasure Map also makes treasures, and Gilded Goose also makes food, so you want to make sure that you're getting use out of those things before you wipe the board. But really, we're going to be leaving the board looking a little bit lopsided when we fire this one off, and it's tutorable with Captain Sisay, so a one-time high-impact board wipe is also pretty sweet. We got the Great Henge and Golter on the top end. These two combo quite nicely together, since they have a pretty similar effect as well. The Great Henge gets cost reduction equal to the greatest power among creatures you control, so we can go up to 7 cost reduction. Guess what? We've got Traxos on 4 mana, which is a 7/7, which means on turn 5, Great Henge is going to be 2 mana. If we've ramped as well, then we can get that out cheaper. So there's one really cool sequence where you can do Traxos into Great Henge, Great Henge generates you the 2 mana, and then you just slap down Golta for the 2 green mana, assuming that you've actually got that 10 cost reduction on there, which happens fairly frequently, actually. We've got some pretty big creatures in our deck. Questing Beasts, Shalais, Lyras, God Eternal Ketra. Every single one of our creatures is a big hitter in its own right, but it's very matchup dependent for a lot of them. But that's where Captain Sisay comes into play, since she's actually allowed to go and tutor up any one of these given things. So if we're up against like Super Friends, we want to grab things like Questing Beast, even Immortal Sun. We are running this with a lot of Planeswalkers in our deck. It's not actually that bad. You're running Immortal Sun in a situation where it's actually better than it is worse. Obviously, we still also have passives as well, so like Nissa still ramps off the passive. Eugene still gets that cost reduction. We've got a Ajani in here that keeps our creatures vigilant and things like that. So although we do lose the activated abilities of our Planeswalkers, we do still get the additional card draw, the Anthem effect of the creatures you control, and we get cost reduction as well. Locking out our opponent's Planeswalkers can be very useful because it's more going to hurt our opponent than it is us. But yeah, that's essentially the deck. That's about as far as I'm going to go into this one. It's pretty sweet. Hopefully you guys enjoy the matches. We're going to be using arenabrawl.net as I mentioned, so it's a great way to play against complete strangers on the internet. So I highly recommend checking it out and playing it there at some point. So let's get into the gameplay. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, all that jazz. And let's do this. Alright, we're in, and let me get this deck thing popped up. Let's see. I like this hand, actually. It's got turn 1 Gilded Goose, turn 2 Treasure Map, so we can start searching for things we need, and then a Karn, so we can get some cool card advantage. There's nothing wrong with this at all, to be honest, so let's go for it. Our opponent's playing Muldrotha the Gravetide. Very, very good commander. 6 mana in Sultai Colours for a 6/6. During each of your turns, you may play up to 1 permanent card of each permanent type from your graveyard. So it's a solid, solid commander. Let's just go with our Gilded Goose, as is tradition. And let's see where we want to go from there. Paradise Druid, okay. Not too much we can do about that. Crashing Drawbridge is not useful right now, but maybe useful a bit later. I'm going to pass. Setting up Keep Stop for the Treasure Map. Gotta miss Treasure Map. It's so good. Arcane Signet, okay. Wouldn't mind one of those myself, to be honest. It'd be lovely. You got 3 mana left, and not attacking is very strange. I want the upkeep stop, not the end step one. Using that for Gilded Goose just doesn't seem great. Tristani Discordant. I think we're going to bottom that. It's a little bit expensive right now. And I'm not going to be casting things anytime soon, I don't reckon, so... do we just want to play... I think we just want to play Blossoming Sands and pass. Let's do another upkeep stop. Apparently Gilded Goose is enough to stop my opponent from attacking with Paradise Druid, so we're going to keep it back to block. But yeah, we're going to have to deal with Muldrotha pretty soon. We don't really have Graveyard Hate as far as I'm aware in this deck. You don't have to hate on it very often. Yeah, I don't think we do. Josu Vess. On his lonesome. Okay. And we finally get the 2 damage in. Makes sense. Alright. Well, let's get Night of Autumn. I actually do like Night of Autumn here. Because I can get to kill the Arcane Signet for what it's worth, which is slowing our opponent down a little bit. Which is worth a little bit. Alright, so let's go Castle Garenbrig. And just kill the Arcane Signet. There we go. Just trying to eke out value, slow our opponent down wherever I can. Looks like it's not going to work. So they've got Muldrotha mana. So I'd love an answer to Muldrotha. We don't really have one. We're kind of more of a DIY kind of. Oh my goodness. You're going to go fight? I thought you were going to double. Okay, sure. Double would have been a problem for us, to be fair. And then take 4. Alright, so let's flip Treasure Map. Mobilize District. Definitely don't need that. I think a value deck like our opponent's is just going to be way too much for us, though. We'll have to see. I mean, I could get Captain Sisay down, which gives me some options for sure. And we have a ton of mana, so if they can't answer Captain Sisay, which they've got to have like a Tube or a Plaguecrafter or something like that. Well, Plaguecrafter won't help when we've got a Knight of Autumn down, but... Rosethorn Acolyte, okay. So right now, if we got Urza's Ruinous Blast, we would lose our treasures and our food token, but we'd leave them with just Josu Vess, which I think is okay. I think we're going to take that. We're going to block there. We're going to just go for an Urza's Ruinous Blast. I need to get rid of some of this board state. So let's make sure to use all of our treasures. We're not going to be able to use our food realistically, I don't think, if we're going to be mana efficient about it. Alright, so Plains. We're going to go dig in. Let's get Urza's Ruinous Blast to exile all non-legendary permanents. Keep that graveyard empty as well. I think we're going to crack one of the treasures here to draw a card. I do need something to build off of later. And then we're going to go white. White. I could sack the food token here. I guess I might as well. I'm gonna lose it if we don't, and I think I can just go like Urza's Ruinous Blast, Legion's Landing, and be fine. So everything but Josu Vess and Captain Sisay, and then we'll go Legion's Landing, which gives us the Vampire token. Alright, so they're gonna need another land drop to play Muldrotha, but again, we've only really given them an Arcane Signet, so it's just really not all that worthwhile to play. Order of Midnight with no targets. Alright. Vivian Reed. It's a good one. I'm sure we could figure out something else. I think what I'll go for, actually, I got a good idea. Let's go get... I'm thinking maybe something like Traxos. Because Traxos gives us 7 cost reduction on the Great Henge, which means that this is 2 mana, so we can go 4 mana, 2 mana, and then we're left with a little bit so we can do Crashing Drawbridge or something like that. And we've got a big boy on the board. We could also just go for God Eternal Aketra. She's only 3, so she's not going to reduce the amount that we need. Yeah, I think it's like Traxos. Let's go Traxos. Pretty sure. Yeah. Alright, let's do it. Traxos. Play Cryptic Caves. Tap all our colorless. Get that cost reduction. Play the Great Henge, which untaps Traxos. And it leaves us with 4 mana, so we could do something like... I guess we could actually go with Karn. Karn's not bad. Doesn't draw as a card, but it gains us a 2 life anyway. And we'll go up. Temple Garden and Shalai. So we're going to get the land, naturally. If you want to know what Shalai does, she's right there. She's very useful. And we'll pass so that we can use the Vampire token as a menacing blocker for Josu Vess. Opponent's had enough. Alright. I really didn't think we were going to win that one, but I guess we'd really just like shut off all value for Muldrotha. Killing the Mana Dorks meant that they couldn't even cast them to begin with, so they take the entire turn to do that. We really didn't have a good answer to Muldrotha, though. It's probably something that maybe you have to consider for maybe a deck change, I'm not sure. I don't think there's any legendary answers to Muldrotha, though. Closest thing we've got to like creature removal is Vivian Reed or Tulsamir or something along that line. And they're really just not quite what you'd want. I don't know. Anyway, let's go for another game. Okay, we're in, and we got decent mana, Mind Stone to do some ramping, and Shalai's a little bit of protection. We got the Angel package. I think that this is pretty decent. We're up against Ilharg, the Raise Boar. I have a hard time seeing how this deck could be better than ours, since most of the cards that you want to cheat in with Ilharg are actually green, as far as Constructed is concerned, so it's going to be an interesting one to see. But yeah, you got your Dracoseths and things like that you can certainly shove onto the battlefield. I'm wondering whether or not we want to go with Captain Sisay right away, since they have probably a lot of good removal. I think I'm going to go for Shalai first, because it does help me protect the Sisay for next turn. We can even do Lyra to make Shalai a 5 toughness creature. Yeah, so Rekindling Phoenix, and I think, yeah, we are just going to Turbo Slam Lyra here, and that should really just lock this game out. As simple as it is, we're going to get in 4 life here. I have a hard time seeing how we could lose here. I guess they could have Fry. Fry's a good answer to Lyra. Ah! Players can't gain life. Well, that's fine. It's more about the blocking package that we've got here than anything else. Right, so we're going to play the Forest. We're going to play the Great Henge, which actually generates 2 mana here, and then we get to go Captain Sisay. We don't gain the life off the Henge, but we do get a counter on Sisay, and she's ready to do some work. Let's just keep hitting for 4, I guess. Again, it's not so much about... Ooh, maybe they've got some burn here. Maybe I should have gone in with the Lyra instead, perhaps. No, it doesn't matter. For future reference, though, definitely not a great idea. Rampagian Frostodon's done more harm to our opponent than us, which is so good so far. Does combo pretty well with Ilharg, though, with all the ETBs. So what do we want to get with Captain Sisay? We've got so much mana to work with. Have we got a direct answer to Ilharg? Not particularly. We've got Blackblade, which can do a lot of work. I suppose we've got Eugene. Eugene minus. Yeah, let's do that. Play Eugene. Minus and get Ilharg out of the way for now. Shalai also gives hexproof to Planeswalkers and cost reduction on Arcane Signet. So we've killed Ilharg, made him more expensive. And now we're going to get Knight of Autumn out there. We're going to draw a card. We're going to kill the Mind Stone, which is their card advantage, and their way of getting to Ilharg cheaper. We just get more lands, which is fine. It's okay. So we just want to get in. And we're going to get in with Shalai now that they've got the no mana open. There's no downside to it. They're going to block anyway. But the creation of the tokens does actually mean that Frostodon is helping us. Again, every time Rekindling Phoenix dies and comes back, it's 2 damage for our opponent. I'm really loving where we're at right now. I have a hard time seeing, as I mentioned at the beginning, how we could possibly lose this game. Captivating Crew. Okay. So they can steal Shalai and take our hexproof from us. Let's see. Let's go Sisay again. Let's see what we want here. Could get an Urza's Ruinous Blast. It gets rid of all of their creatures and gets rid of our Arcane Signet and our Mind Stone, but that's it. I like that. We're going to use the Arcane Signet and the Mind Stone just to use for the mana on the Urza's Ruinous Blast. We also lose our Knight of Autumn. That's true. But that's fine. Goodbye, all 3 of your creatures. My board state is superior to yours. Now we're going to start drawing some cards, playing some Mox Ambers, and yeah, way too much value. Actual Ruffle Stomp from the very beginning, as we expected. Alright, we're in, and we've got a slow hand, but we are up against a slow commander as well. Golos, Tireless Pilgrim, 5 mana, 3/5. When it enters the battlefield, you search your library for a land, put it onto the battlefield, Then you get to pay 5 colours and 2 to exile 3 cards and play them this turn without paying their mana cost. So I'm torn on this hand because I really do like Treasure Map. But it is very slow. I suppose we are on the draw, so we've got time to get a 3rd land naturally. Maybe a Mana Dork or something like that. I'm going to keep it. I think maybe we can get there. Ooh, cool sleeves. Never seen these sleeves before. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Alright. Does anyone know where them sleeves are from? I want the broken sleeves. Yeah, if anyone knows where these came from, because I've never seen them before. I feel like I would have. They look pretty cool. It's clearly Throne of Eldraine themed because it's broken. But no, it's the what's it? The Royal Scion swords, isn't it? But glitched. I love it. What's not to love? All right. So we didn't really get what we wanted. We got lots of cards we can't really cast. So it is what it is. We're gonna treasure map and hopefully find a land, which just allows us to put Blackblade Reforged down for the sake of it. Our opponent's pretty close to the Wooburg Madness, and indeed they do have their Golos next turn, so we are probably in a lot of trouble. Alright, there's a land. Really just need lands. We do have Urza's Ruinous Blast for Captain Sisay, so that can help us with maybe the Field of the Dead shenanigans. I think we're also running Field of Ruin in our deck as well. I forgot to get my upkeep stop, and that's actually going to kill me. Oh boy. Alright, well, I'll set it now. Yeah, so Yarok allows for double Golos triggers off of Field of the Dead, and also allows them to pull 2 lands out. I think we have already lost. It's not even close. So 2 lands are their choice. They could get like the gate, the 5-color gate that makes you pay 1 mana. Other than that, really, you can just get literally anything. It doesn't particularly matter. This is the actual Golos nut draw, and we've kind of got the Sisay worst draw. So I think I'm gonna see what's on top. If it isn't even remotely good, I'm gonna scoop and move on. That's not good. And we'll see what the next one is. Because I guess we've got Blackblade that we can equip to something cool. I don't know why it wants to get rid of all my green when all of my hand except for Shalai is green. It just wants to tap my forest to screw me. Mind Stone. No. Inadequate. Sun Petal Grove. So I guess I can Multani. Equip Multani and make him huge massive. Is that good enough? Not really. We've got Vivian to kill Golos. Golos just comes back. I guess I'm going with Sisay. I'm just hoping that I can pull something useful. Like, we've got Urza's Ruinous Blast, which gets rid of the zombie tokens they're going to generate over this turn. Maybe even the Beanstalk Giant if they do play it out there. And I can use the treasures as well to use the mana. Vraska Golgari Queen can kill my Blackblade. Or sack zombies. Also works. Might as well, I suppose. I just have a hard time seeing us doing anything effective here. So the Multani Blackblade plan was just going to fall flat on its face since Vraska's around to kill Blackblade. We don't really have Graveyard Recursion in this deck, so... Yeah, gotta take it all. That's 16 damage. And we're just dead. Yep, well, fun while it lasted. Ooh, we've got an interesting commander up on our opponent's side. We're going to keep this hand. It's got decent mana, Chromatic Lantern as ramp, and the cards are okay. They're not crazy crazy good or anything like that. Our opponent's playing Multani, Yavamaya's Avatar, which we will get to in just a moment. Blossoming Sands go. Multani is a 6 mana 0/0, however it gets +1/+1 for each land you control and each land card in your graveyard. It has reach and trample, and also can get around the command attacks by bouncing 2 lands to put it from your graveyard to your hands. So instead of putting it in the command zone, they can put it in the graveyard instead and get some work done there. Alright, we're just going to lead off with our Selesnya Guildgate since we have no 2-drops. And we're just going to lead off into Chromatic Lantern next turn. Hopefully into an early Eugene, maybe. Elvish Visionary. Are we doing Elf Tribal? That'd be interesting. For sure. The Command Tower makes me feel like they might be doing Field of the Dead. I mean, whenever I've done, as kind of a joke, a monocolored deck that runs Field of the Dead, because I really think that you can get away with running it in pretty much any color. Doing that kind of thing is definitely why I would. All the colorless lands, Command Tower, you get all your non-basics out there. There's plenty of monocolored to enable Field of the Dead. Not effectively enable it, but still. You can get your 7 differently named lands very easily. Alright, so I guess we're going to go Sisay Mox Amber here. She should survive. Fight spells are really the only thing that we have to concern ourselves with. And Blast Zone's going up to 2, which is not a number we care about. I'm going to get the Mox Amber out, just to stop me from having to click any buttons that aren't just play Mox Amber. So I really don't think it matters too much. So yeah, we get the choice of activating Sisay, or we can go with Eugene here and start that up. I feel like Eugene would just win us the game. Then again, if I went for something like Urza's Ruinous Blast, I can get rid of everything, but I lose my Chromatic Lantern in the process. I think I'm just going to go Eugene and tick up. We'll leave Captain Sisay as a blocker. Immortal Sun is interesting. It's definitely not for this matchup, but it's not the worst thing in the world either. Wayward Swordtooth, draw a card. Okay. Yeah, Ruinous Blast is looking better and better the more they commit into this. I would have loved to have killed some Mana Dorks with it, but it wasn't meant to be. Ooh, Golter. How do we deal with Golter? Play our own Golter, I guess, is really what it comes down to. Alright, so Captain Sisay. Do we have a Golter answer right now? We've got... Could do Traxos into Golter. That's not bad. Traxos costs 2 mana as well because of Ugin, which is really cool. And we can also minus Eugene and kill Golter that way as well, which means that we don't have to commit hard into dealing with what our opponents got. Alright, yeah, I think we're going to go with the Golter here. Untap Traxos. Play Helm of the Host for 2 mana, cost reduction as well. And just to be on the safe side, I guess we're going to go boop. Get rid of Golter. Pass the turn. Next turn we can equip Helm of the Host on, I guess maybe Golter. Golter's not a bad one. A 12/12 Trampler every turn's pretty good against the green deck that doesn't really have answers outside of fight spells. I guess they have artifact and enchantment removal in Reclamation Sage and things like that for sure. But I'm pretty sure I've got that covered. Nissa, who shakes the world. I was thinking of getting one myself, but looking at my mana base, I don't really have any forests right now, so I can't take advantage of that necessarily. We do have Immortal Sun, but the passive on Nissa is really the issue here. Okay. We could do Tristani, which gives +1/+1 to all of our creatures, which actually means that the Eugene tokens match the forests. Blanchwood Armor, okay. It's a 9/9, still not going to get through Golter. So we still have that good block. And let's do a Sisay again. What we want this time? What do we want this time? It could be the Urza's Ruinous Blast. Yeah, I think it is. Wipe the board here. We get an Immortal Sun as well from our Spirit token. So let's go Fabled Passage. Let's tap this for white. And Urza's Ruinous Blast. You can always untap Traxos with a Legion's Landing anyway, so not too fussed there. They're going to float some mana to reclaim, I guess? The forest is the one thing that doesn't go, though. So I guess they haven't read the card. It's non-land permanents that aren't legendary. Alright, so there goes Nissa Who Shakes the World. We even have a 4-mana Immortal Sun that we can mess around with. Let's go 7 here, 12 here. Tick up Eugene, which means he's removal for next turn. It's a land. Okay. Oh, we need to crack Fable Passage for a Plains, since we no longer have the Chromatic Lantern. I guess I would have preferred a forest there, so we should have floated the mana first. But yeah, I don't see the reason why it matters. So I'm over it. Nice game. Ooh, the variety just keeps on flowing today. We got the Fable Passage into Treasure Map. Our opponent's playing Ariel, Knight of Windgrace. 4 mana, 4/4 with Vigilance. You get to tap 3 to make a 2/2 Knight creature token, or you can tap X to destroy creatures with power X or less. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool commander. I built that one myself. It's not actually been shown on the channel yet, but it's pretty fun. It's a very aggressive deck as this one. It's the way I built it anyway, and it's the only way I found it to be all that great. I'm risking a bad hand by not keeping this one. It's perfectly acceptable. The treasure map's pretty cool, so let's just Fable Passage, pass. We'll go grab a forest with that, and then we'll turn to treasure map. I'm hoping that Sisay into Urza's Ruinous Blast will be adequate. This could be Foulmire Knight or Knight of the Ebon Legion. None of the above, apparently. Alright, so let's grab a forest, so we have that turn 2 treasure map. Command tower's pretty good. Some good mana fixing right there. And we'll set her up, keep stop, so that we can do some good stuff. We either top a 2-drop, or just look for more lands, to be honest. Depends. If we see something that, like, sticks out as clearly a good choice for this matchup, something like a board wipe, I'm definitely going to be topping that. I'm going to bottom the land for now. Vivian Reed, that does not stick out as a good card right now. So I could use next turn to actually, instead of treasure map, go for Captain Sisay. It's definitely an option available to me. Corpse Knight, because I'm wondering how quickly I'm going to have to Ruinous Blast against my opponent. Yeah, let's get Sisay down. Let's play a land, play Sisay. She's probably going to die. There's so many removal spells that they could have here. I'm hoping that they're just going to be like creature aggro and not try to murder me. But I'm certainly not going to be Ruinous Blasting next turn, so I need something like Mox Amber from Sisay, just as that guaranteed a little bit of ramp. That's like taking my land drop there as well at that point. So we're going to take the damage. It's only 4. We can accept this. We have things like Tolsimir to gain life. And here comes Ariel. Okay. So Ruinous Blast is not going to get rid of Ariel, but it should get rid of a lot of the other stuff. Then again, a lot of Knights are actually legendary. So I'm going to keep the land. Because I want to make those land drops. They are quite important to me. So we can go get a 4-drop that is double green or double white. Could get something like Questing Beast. Shalai is good at keeping Captain Sisay around. Could play any of the cards that are in our hand as well, but they don't seem particularly good. Yeah, I think it might just be a Questing Beast. Opponent's not likely to block it. It's got Vigilance. It stops some attacks. We're going to get that upkeep stop for the treasure map. If they do trade, we're pretty happy with that anyway. Getting rid of Ariel's never a bad thing. And next turn we can think about maybe doing Urza's Ruinous Blast. But to be honest, I'm quite happy with our board state as it stands. I don't expect anything except for like Wintermore Commander to actually attack in here, so... Could go for Tolsimir. Or Tristani. Oh, I guess they have got the Ariel activation, haven't they? The tap X Knights to destroy a creature with power X or less. They can certainly do that. Knight of Grace. Yeah, they're getting all of these summoning sick ones that they can use to tap Ariel with, I guess. Where are you going to tap, though? Are you going to kill my Sisay, or...? I'm trading. Happily. They want to get their attack in before they tap and kill Sisay, I guess, is their plan. Or maybe they actually want to attack in and kill Questing Beast, which is really good for us. Yeah, sure. We're at 11. So let's get the upkeep stop. Sun Petal Grove, sure. Totally fine. Gimme dem lands. Right. I think this is a Ruinous Blast right now. So we got 3, 4, 5. It leaves us with 3 mana. So if we tap our lands right, we can play Gideon as well. They're left with an Ariel. Yeah. I think the creature killing is just a little bit too much for us, unfortunately. Tolsimir is not really going to do much. It could do Eugene. It's not really good enough, though. Yeah, I think this is the Ruinous Blast turn. So we're going to go white, 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 colourless green. This is Ruinous Blast. Get rid of everything except for Ariel. And then play Gids down. We'll just pump up on here. It's not really going to make a difference. If they got a Lord effect, then Gideon's dead, but that's fine. If we get a land drop, we've got Traxos into any of our 4 drops to untap him. And that should be pretty hard for them to deal with. Knight's Charge. Alright, 1 damage. Oh, 1 life loss, sorry. As a drain on the attacks here. It's pretty cool. This is actually the card that made me want to try building Black-White Knights. Since the activation on the bottom there is pretty dirty. But Ruinous Blast kind of makes short work of that, for, without a doubt.
I've fought worse.
Bet you aren't. Bet you're a liar. If you can do like Gideon, give Traxos Vigilance, that'd be pretty funny. Alright. Let's see. We've only got the 1 creature, so activating Garenbrig's not really going to do us much good. Let's see what Sisay can get us. There's always an argument to just straight up Sisay every time. You just want to know what's available. Great Henge. I guess that's an option. It's life gain, which is something we need. We can do Traxos into the Great Henge. Yeah, I guess so. So let's grab the Great Henge. Let's colourless, colourless. Everything else is fine. Put Traxos down, which makes the Great Henge cost 2. Which generates 2, so it's effectively free. Untaps Traxos. Gonna give that Traxos the old Vigilance. Vigilante. Not that it matters. Give it Indestructible, I guess, but the opponent has nothing to do, so. And I think we just go with... Let's go Helm of the Host. Why not? Why the hell not? You can make millions of Gideons. So yeah, I think we should be able to get around this Knight's Charge. We can do Tolsimir and start fighting any Knights that come round. We can even Helm up the Tolsimir. So might as well get in for the 4 damage here. If they've got an answer to Traxos, Gideon's going to die regardless. And the Indestructible just means that we can swing right through their commander. Yeah, in the old Gideon prison fashion, I actually kind of like the idea of helming up a Gideon. Getting loads of activations so that Gideon can target himself effectively. It's pretty funny. I think they're just way too far behind on card advantage. I don't see how they can ever come back from this. Let's make all the commanders. Look at that. Beautiful. Alright, and then we're gonna go Sisay. I guess we'll go Tolsimir on Danatha's a thing. I think we'll just go Tristani, though. Tristani's cool. There we go. Oh, yeah. Pump up the Tristani. Get a Forest. Tick up Gideon on Traxos. Just, I don't know. Give him Indestructible. Why the hell not? Now we get some Gideons attacking in. All the Planeswalkers. Oh yeah. I'm loving this. I love this deck so much. I really do. There's so many cool things you can do with it. Most of them revolve around like Helm of the Hosting and just supreme card advantage left, right and centre. Let's just tick up for the sake of it. It's going to go at the end of the turn anyway, so... Now we have 2 Gideons. Opponent really needs to kill Sisay, because you can see why Sisay is such a huge problem. I get literally the pick of the litter when she's around. She just needs to die immediately. Every single time. So if our opponent has a knight in her hand, she needs to get rid of Sisay, but doing that, it also means that you're going to lose. So in that sense, you just can't win. You have to worry about the Knight's Charge as well. If they ever got to the mana, they could do something, but we have actually Ruinous Blasted all of their Knights up until this point, so there's really nothing for them to get back there. It's pretty dirtily one-sided, I'd say, at this point. Alright, well, that's going to do it for today's video and for this deck. It's pretty sweet. Highly recommend checking it out. Again, if you want to play Historic Brawl day-to-day, then arenabrawl.net is where I go to play it, so it's a pretty sweet website. It's not terribly populated at the moment, though, which is quite surprising, since the Brawler days kind of really pumped up the need for that kind of service, but it's there anyway. You can get a game pretty quickly. I really just don't have too many problems. The only issue is probably rematches, which I've tried to reduce when I've been recording videos as well, so yeah. There's a good chance that you get to play against me when you're there as well. So, hopefully guys you enjoyed this video. If you've got any suggestions for legendaries that are missing from this, remember they can only be green or white. No Golos or anything like that. You can't do Kenrith either, because he's also 5 colours. Otherwise he would be in this deck in a heartbeat. Both of them probably would, because I think I could justify quite easily having Field of the Dead in here, which makes Golos quite useful. Also, we have Chromatic Lantern, which means I would be able to activate him, but since he's 5 colours, we're actually not able to do that, which is a terrible shame. But yeah, Captain Sisay, absolute sick Historic Brawl commander. Needs to just be immediately answered. I guess if it does get immediately answered, then you're relying a little bit on top decks, which can be this deck's downfall on occasion, because, you know, a lot of these cards are very situational, so if you're not drawing the right cards for the right situation, you're going to have a bad time. But yeah, I really enjoy this deck. Hopefully you guys do too. If you do, make sure to hit that like button to let me know. Subscribe, comment down below, all of that jazz, and I'll see you all next time. Ta-ra.